to my last video, Am I Bothered? About progression. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about openly. It's very important that you don't rate your progress and your experience by how many years you have been doing this work. And the reason that I say this, I've got a little fly here. Please wander away, fly away. The reason that I say this is you can be doing something very badly for 30 years or longer. It doesn't make you an expert. It just means you've been doing something and repeating it badly for a very long time. So, linear progression, there is no such thing in this type of work. And it's a little bit like, I plant an apple tree and in 5 years' time it starts to bear wonderful blossom and fruit. And I have that apple tree over my lifetime, and there are some years where it's very productive and some where there's hardly anything, and yet it's still healthy. And that is very much the case with your development, is that you can't measure it in time. There are just conditions around you that will determine when you're ready to bear fruit, if you like, just like my analogy of the apple tree. And I think it is really important that you certainly don't measure that progression by anybody else's. It can cause a few problems when you create great friendships and you go on the same courses, you do the same mentorships, you seem to have started at the same place, and yet one of you or one of your friends has gone streets ahead and has got to where you want to be, and you feel left behind. And that can feel really tough and very hard, but actually you can never measure your development and progress by the status of somebody else. And it doesn't mean necessarily that they are more advanced and more progressed than you. They've perhaps had different opportunities. They're perhaps at that state now, but there will be something within you that's unique and needs to progress that they will never have, because we are all unique. And because of that uniqueness of you, it's crucial not to compare or have an expectation, and certainly not compare it to another person who you considered was part of your development circle, group, friendship circle in this field of work. So it is not linear, and there will be times where it seems as if nothing is happening. During those times, a lot is happening. What will be the measure is your dedication to stick with it, or to take a break and come back to it when the compulsion is there. That will be the measure of your progress. The other thing is that when people first start to develop in this field of work, there's like this burst of wonder, and it's fantastic. You might see things more clearly, hear things more clearly, get a lot more intuitive impressions, be a lot more confident or less confident. It will be different. And then you get to a phase where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling it like I used to. Years ago, I remember a friend who is a great healer, and she said, I used to feel the power of life force when I was the healing power. I used to feel as if God was with me, and now I don't feel anything. And yet, the feedback I'm having from patients is that they are achieving more in their healing than before, when I felt all the power. And sometimes that power seems to come in. There's all of this is theory, you have to understand. If anyone says it is that and it isn't that, then ask for the research and the proof, But your proof is your proof. But very often there is this initial excitement and opening up and experiences that we have. And it's almost as if you become accustomed to it, acclimatized to it, and it becomes the norm. And you think, oh, it used to be more exciting than this. I used to feel more, see more, seem to know more. Maybe that was the case, but most of the time it's purely a matter of things are changing, you're acclimatizing, it's becoming more natural. You don't need it being proved to you all the time. You're just going out there and doing it. So I would say to you, even though it doesn't feel quite so amazing, it is even more amazing because it's become natural, second nature. You're accustomed to it. It is accustomed to you too. So, don't compare. Don't look at your development as a linear progression. Take the breaks if you need them. Come back to them. And just love the journey. That's all I can say. The more you start putting labels on, I've been doing this so many years, I'm internationally renowned. Maybe that's all true. Doesn't mean you've progressed very far. And the last thing you want to do, if this really means anything to you, and this really is important to you, and you are working in truth, is that it is a popularity contest. And that because people love you and people like you, you are successful. Forget about the success. The reason that you're doing this work is nothing to do with success. It's all to do with significance, and you're creating significance. And you'll have a lot of people out there who are very popular and they will say the right words. But look at how they are. And are they comfortable in their own skin? Do they feel they need to keep proving themselves? Do they need to wear their heart on their sleeve and tell you how angry they are at the world all the time? Or even to disrespect and criticize others? Yes, do it if they're fraud. I'll call you out if you're a fraud. And I don't care. You can't do anything to me that's going to affect me badly. I'll call out a fraud any day. But somebody who's just, deluded, you can be kind, but don't entertain it. But more than anything, don't let yourself get caught up in that's how you should be or shouldn't be. Stop judging and just be. And that's where the progress will really happen. Take care, everyone.